Welcome to the Last Days video show. My name is Jack Willard. The worst Friday the 13th ever? What's ahead? What's beyond that? Hamas, backed up by other terror groups, have declared Friday, October 13th, 2023, a day of general mobilization. Some are saying that's code for a global day of jihad. I'm recording this early in the morning on Friday the 13th, 2023. You may be seeing it much later. So you'll have an understanding exactly what happened on this Friday the 13th, an understanding I don't yet have. But of course, the writing is on the wall. And what's ahead, what's beyond, will bring us into even darker times than we have known so far in 2023. The veil is off. Terror is in the streets. And we are possibly at the beginning of what is called the tribulation. On Thursday, the 12th, we saw college students in big cities like New York City, Chicago, Seattle, and many other cities holding protests outside the college. We saw Palestinian students, and we saw students that support their beliefs bringing their hatred, bringing their animosity out into the streets. Fortunately, in most cases, the protests were not violent. But this is just the beginning. When a child is taught to hate another group of people, in this case, Israel, Jewish people, when they're taught that that's how they should feel from early on, when they're 5 years old perhaps, they will soak up this philosophy. They will soak up this willingness to do what it takes to see your cause, the cause that they have had embedded in their thoughts, into their DNA. They will do what they have to do to make a difference for their cause. I know back when I was young, I was attracted to protesting one thing or another. The war in Vietnam, for example. I was willing to march in the street. We all do that at some point in our lives, or at least we think about it and we watch others do it. We show support. But now it's a different world completely. It's not 1966 anymore. When you go to a city like New York, well, there's a dozen different things you have to worry about. People can commit violence against you and never see a jail cell. They can rob you, they can beat you, maybe even push you into the oncoming train, and they will flee. And let's just say that the search for who did that won't have the passion that it once did back in the day. Back in the day where our cities were mostly safe, there was always crime. There was always stealing. There was always evildoers. But now they have gone mainstream. Today in New York City, Friday the 13th, 2023, as I do this program, every New York City cop is supposed to be on duty today. If you're overnights, you're working a double. If it's your day off, you've got to be in today. They want to have a big presence of police in New York City. And it will unfold, and we'll all be able to see it unfold. And that will be replicated in big cities all over America. And perhaps, obviously, in other parts of the globe. Share your comments, share your experiences right here in the comment section. Keep it respectful, but share your story. The horror of the invasion of Israel by Hamas is so gruesome, so filled with rage, that we know that we are definitely in the darkest times of our lives. And we also know that it's going to be very prolonged, and that the odds are we may never see America, we may never see Israel, we may never see the Middle East like it was before. Now, cleansing is always good, but when it is motivated by hate, anti-Semitism, when it is motivated by hurting another human being, it only leads to further violence. It only leads to more depravity. When you see little babies being stabbed, set ablaze, teenage girls being raped, being set on fire, well over 200 who went to a music event near the Gaza City, near the line between Palestine, Gaza, and Israel. They went to a concert, and the theme was peace. But Israel seems to have gone asleep, and they forgot how formidable and how evil their neighbor can be. Intelligence failed. It failed in Israel. It failed around the world. It failed right here in America. And that's a scary thing when we are sleeping at the switch. So we saw atrocities, some of it broadcast on TV. Many hostages have been taken. We don't know how many are still alive. This had been planned for a year, and the Intel missed it. They missed it because they resorted to old school, writing notes and what have you. They didn't broadcast it and communicate on the internet, which has been the mistake in the past. They met personally. they organized in the shadows. And so they had a year to plan it, and a year to figure out where they were going to put these hostages. And they are threatening to kill the hostages one by one if Israel doesn't back off. But as I talk to you here on this Friday the 13th, and you will see it if you're watching this at a later time, you will see clearly what is so obviously going to happen. Israel is going to invade Gaza City. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says they won't stop until every member of Hamas is dead. They'll go house to house. That's the plan of the Israelis. God may have another plan. He may have another direction. But violence, wars, and rumors of wars has all been predicted a long time ago. And now we're living it. It's happening in our lifetime. It's been said that many of the Palestinian people hate Hamas, and yet they're trapped in Gaza City as I speak to you. Benjamin Netanyahu has told them to flee where they are. They have 24 hours to flee, but where are they going to flee to? I'm not sure that they're welcome over the Israeli border. And Hamas will be out there waiting for them. Innocent people just trying to live a life. And these Palestinians were already living lives of poverty and lack. Hamas has taken over everything, even their sewer system, because they wanted to use that to place weapons there, and the electrical companies, so that Palestine became beholden, relied on Israel to give them water and to give them electricity. And now that's all been cut off. It's always the people that are innocent, that are just trying to work, support their family, and have some kind of satisfaction for the life they're living, and see their kids go on to success. These are the people that get caught in the crossfire. And it's not just Hamas, it's Hezbollah, and of course it is Iran. And that's just for starters. Enemies everywhere on this Friday the 13th as I speak to you. This horror show has had an effect on some of the progressives and the Democrats that sympathize with the progressive cause. Jake Tapper on CNN pointing to the racism in the Democratic Party. He's been doing this even prior to the invasion, and he'll have several guests with him, and they get very quiet. They're not here to do anything that would promote the Republican thought, for example. They're there to trash everything MAGA, to pigeonhole people. But then in this experience, especially with the squad, we have seen racism and stupidity right out there in plain sight for everybody to see. Congresswoman Tlaib leading the pack. Because just like Hamas, just like these students out there in front of their college, they're fine with the decapitation of teenagers, women, children, babies. They're fine with them being destroyed, with them raping women in the streets and then marching them, parading them for all to see as they are bleeding from their vaginas. I don't know why God allows this. I don't know how much He'll take. I don't know what His plan is. But we are seeing what happens when a country, a world, takes its eyes off of God. And there are many warnings about what happens when we do that, and many descriptions both in the Old and the New Testament of the Bible what the last days will be like. And of course there's the Biden factor. Joseph R. Biden, 46th President of the United States. He just seems to be an America last type of person. Oh, he's willing to send billions to the Ukraine because his son, Hunter, was on the payroll there, even though he has really no experience in anything. But the Ukraine has become basically a bombed out shell. And we are becoming more and more a broke country with trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. Nothing to be left for future generations. A hole that is just about impossible to climb out of. And more spending and more spending. And now, Israel. But Israel is different. Israel is different than the Ukraine. I've long respected Tucker Carlson, who these days is on X, and he spoke about the situation in Israel, the war that is now starting with the Palestinians, and he basically used the same script that he was using for the Ukraine. But no, it's not the same thing. The Ukraine is not the same as Israel is. Christians are commanded to support Israel, the Holy Land. Jewish people are the chosen people. And we don't have to know all the answers. We just have to know that we are to stand with Israel. Now, I'm not talking about rushing into all kinds of military actions. Nikki Haley would have us in World War III and probably would bring an end to our existence very quickly. I'm not talking about that. We have to pray, and we need leaders that are wise, not leaders that are in serious cognitive decline, that are embracing evil people, progressives, and then lean towards a form of communism. That's not what we need. That's not what we need for healing. That always leads to destruction. That leads to the end of free speech. And you want to be for free speech. But we have let people into this country that have fostered the climate that we now live in. The leader of Poland said, "We don't have any of the problems that the United States have because we don't let immigrants in." Well, America has always been a melting pot. But what has happened is evil thoughts, godless thoughts, thoughts of violence and rage have festered, and now walking amongst us are future terrorists. And I don't think it's too long into the future. What would the country be like 20 years from now if we should still exist? When you see those college students. Now, there are many wonderful examples of people that love America, stand for American values, understand the progress we've made, that don't want to hate. They understand hate leads to annihilation. It leads to the end of everything as we know it. So they understand that the godly principles, the patriotism that has brought America so far, we're not like we used to be. We have changed. Yet, people that love their country are called fascist by this generation. We've let the boll weevils in. We've let evil people in. And now they are slowly bringing America and the world towards a cliff. So I can't agree with Tucker when he says that, as human beings, we would feel bad when we see the atrocities going on in Israel, but we should do nothing about it. I wouldn't be saying that we should have done nothing in the Ukraine, but that was not our war to fight. Help get the people out into Poland and Hungary, give them safe passage, tell Putin that that's what we're going to do, but don't try to fight the Ukrainian war. And the Israelis want to fight this war themselves. They want foundational support, of course, from the United States and other countries, but they want to fight this war themselves. And they know how to fight a war. This is how we're going to close this short video. Psalm 122. I rejoice with those who said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet are standing in your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is built like a city that is closely compacted together. That is where the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, to praise the name of the Lord, according to the statute given to Israel. There is the thrones for judgment. That's where they stand, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure. May there be peace within your walls and security within your citadels. For the sake of my brothers and friends, I will say, peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek prosperity. We seek prosperity for Israel. We seek and pray for protection for Israel, the Holy Land, where it is said that the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, Jesus Christ, will come again in glory on a cloud surrounded by the angels. The times are going to get very dark now. Pray. Know what's going on in your surroundings. Make a difference. Make a positive difference. This is not the time for us to be staring down at our phones and lost in all the day-to-day distractions of this world. It's really hard. It always is hard to deny the flesh and live for God. But that's the call on our lives. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My name is Jack Willard. This is the Last Days video show here at the virtual church of the disillusioned.